This is our crew car, which has been lived in for the past 2 weeks here in the USA by a crew that apparently consists entirely of teenage dirtbags. But how did we get here? And how do we get our deposit back? It's time to find out.
Coming up, this poor innocent rental gets lived in by people with little idea of hygiene. Gets blasted through deserts, used as a mobile filming rig, spends a lot of time in gas stations, driven 1,400 miles in 12 days, and remains untidied throughout.
Now, you might not know much about film crews, but they look normal, but they are essentially animals. They're really good at filming and focus, but they're definitely the teenagers that never clean their bedrooms. And yes, I am talking about you and him. So what we've decided to do, in our wisdom, is I've just been and picked up from the airport hire company this rather shiny Jeep Wagoneer, and we're going to use it over the course of the next 2 weeks and several different shoots, and we're not going to clean it at all. And then we're going to give it a deep clean, and we're going to try and bring it back up to handover standard. And as an added bit of jeopardy, we've not even taken out the basic insurance package. Frankly, I think we've made a mistake.
Rental cars. They're the fastest cars in the world, the best handling, indestructible, and best of all, if you get the full insurance package, consequence-free. Sort of. And renting cars is big business. It's worth 141 billion globally, and North America is the place that rents out cars the most. About 48 million US residents rent a car every year, and LAX, where we picked up our Jeep, did 2.3 million rentals on its own last year. That's 263 per hour, every day. And it's an old school business. The first rental company in the US was called the Ford Livery Company and rented out a single Ford Model T for 10 cents a mile. Rentals have come a long way. To start us off, we decided on a little road trip, which immediately involved lots of stops for both fuel and snacks, which all seemed a little unnecessary.
So we're about 4 hours outside of Los Angeles, we're on our way to Vegas, and we've just entered Nevada, so we've not got that much further to go. And everyone keeps encouraging me to treat this car really badly. But it kind of goes against my better nature. I don't like it.
But soon we arrived at our first desert-based filming location to have a little go in an off-road race truck. And while the Ford Raptor R was doing this, the Jeep was in the background hauling the film crew around on dirt roads and getting ever filthier.
I just wanted to talk to you about what we need out of a camera car as a crew. Now obviously we need something really big because there's 4 people and loads of camera kit. So something like this Jeep Wagoneer is pretty perfect. We do have to go slightly off-road, park on medians, all that sort of stuff. This has got 7 seats, so we can flop them down for more useful load area. It's comfy, it's big, it's got all the sorts of things we need. It's not particularly good on gas mileage, but we don't care. But I wanted to show you something. We're not that far into this shoot, but look at it. It's already bad. I mean, we don't have smell-o-vision, but this is pretty ripe. And if you're on the road all the time, I have to say, it's not great for your diet. Blah.
Then we went back to Las Vegas to pick up the next star car, involving lots more miles, and a white Rolls-Royce, which looked pretty good in the Vegas lights. But we needed to get that dirty, so we took it miles away to a dry lake bed. And guess which car was behind the scenes, soaking up all the views and most of the dust available? Yes, that was the Jeep, which also became our roving camera mount. Ever wondered how you get these shots? Well, you get them like this. Once we'd finished that, it was another trip back to Los Angeles to our next appointment. More snacks, more miles, more annoying crew habits.
crews on long transfers between shoots are entirely riveting company. I love them, but they are very, very sleepy. Usually on these longer shoots where we have a crew car for a long time, we are quite meticulous about how we clean it and look after it, because this is basically where we live for half of the time. But give this lot one sniff of not having to clean it and they become animals.
It's in LA that things got a bit more urban and a bit less dusty. But the Jeep still didn't get emptied of crud, and it was starting to honk a little. Turning up to see a squadron of gleaming and perfectly looked after lowriders was, frankly, a bit embarrassing. But it did fit in quite nicely when it came to documenting our own zombie apocalypse, even if just because of the smell.
This car has, over the past 13 days, covered nearly 1,400 miles. It's gone across 2 states, gone to a dry lake bed. It's survived a zombie apocalypse, several other shoots, and we have not cleaned it at all. And frankly, it's now starting to smell a bit ripe. In fact, this is so bad that I'm embarrassed. So I think we should just do at least a little bit of a clean and get the major rubbish out before it gets to our clean team. Dan, let's do something.
To save my blushes before we did the big cleanup, we at least decided to take the main detritus out of the car, because it was a toxic waste dump. And then it was time for the proper clean. Now, the Top Gear Speed Clean is all about being practical, so we're going to clean this car in 4 hours, the kind of time a normal person might spend cleaning their motor. And we're just going to use normal products and machinery, so stuff you might reasonably have at home or be able to buy for a few bucks. But the Jeep really is in a state, so I need a little bit of help. Cue Mike Chacon, who's more used to detailing more specialist vehicles, but he said he'd help me out. I think he regretted that pretty much instantly. First, we need to get the mats out and disinfect the heck out of them, because there are unidentifiable stains. Shudder.
Alright, so first thing on these mats, I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum. I'm gonna use my fresh cleanup, and then I got my drill and brush attachment. If you don't have this, you could also power wash and let them dry. Let's get to it.
Obviously, if you do use water, you need to make sure the mats are completely dry before you stick them back in, or you'll create a mouldy mess. So air it all out.
So here we are in the boot, or the trunk, and honestly this isn't too bad, mainly because there weren't any humans in here. So I think it just needs a really good vacuum and a bit of a polish, which I'll do now. The boot seals are full of this kind of like pale dust, and you want to get all of that out, otherwise every time you shut the boot you might end up with more dirt on the inside of your car. So I'm going to get in all of these big thick rubber seals to make sure they're all clean. With these third row seats, because nobody's been sat here and they've been folded the whole time, they're essentially immaculate already, so they don't need much work. I'll just give them a wipe, just to be sure though.
All right, so as you can see here, we got some tape. As soon as I take it off, there's some residue. So what I use is adhesive remover. Where did you guys go?
Everywhere. We've done like nearly 1,400 miles, salt pans, and more to the point, it's just a load of dirty boys living in it.
Oh yeah, I could tell.
Okay, so that interior is looking a lot more sparkly now, and it's time to start on the exteriors. Mike, what do we do first, and why have we got 3 buckets?
All right, so the first bucket is for the wheels. So we got water in here, we got wheel brushes, tire brushes, stuff like that. Second bucket are gonna be for our dirty water. You gotta make sure you always have a grit guard inside.
Right, so that means all the stuff that comes off your cloths goes straight to the bottom.
Yep, it doesn't lift up.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then the third one is going to be our soap and our clean water. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And then start on the wheels?
Starting the wheels first.
Get them all cleaned out?
Yep.
And then what, snow foam?
Snow foam.
Let's just hit it. Woo!
Go.
Here you can see the life of a crew car, because these are the suction cup mounts that they use to put cameras onto the car so we can look at other things. But look, this stuff, it's like bits of gunk that's left by gaffer tape that they used to hold things on to make sure they don't split off. And then look, just sun cream and hands on paintwork. All of it attracts dust to make it stick to the car. And then when you try and wipe it off, if you don't do it right, you scratch everything. So you have to be careful. Of course, one of the problems of being in direct sunlight and really hot is that this is drying out far too quickly, so you shouldn't really wash your car when it's this hot and sunny. But needs must, we need to get this clean, so we're just gonna have to keep rinsing it, keep getting it wet. Go, Mikey. Now that is quite the transformation. This car has gone from filthy to fabulous in the space of just a few hours. And now all that remains is for us to take it back to the rental company and see if we can get our deposit back.
Okay, so we do not recommend that you treat a rental car like this because it is silly, smelly and not very pleasant. But it does go to show that a decent cleanup and a lot of elbow grease can get a very dirty car back to showroom standard in a relatively short amount of time. You just need to do it right. And then, if you're the film crew, apparently you go straight to departures and leave the long-suffering presenter to take the car back on his own.
We did it. We got our deposit back.